Well, I've lived here my entire life, and so have my parents, and talked about, what could be out here, what could you use. 100 years ago, this was a golf course. Hard to believe that, but and so several years back, the Wheatland Little League had the idea of building some ball fields so they could have tournaments, things like that. And so this area was undeveloped. Everyone knew it would be fairly expensive to develop, but with some foresight from the city of Davenport and the Wheatland Little League kind of pressing it and pushing it, that they developed the idea of field of dreams.
When I first came to Davenport in the spring of 2000, one of the prevailing themes I was hearing is the need for a Little League baseball field. And there was just concern that there was no place to play Little League baseball. So the Little League, as it got more and more organized, they started this Field of Dreams project.
They didn't have enough dollars behind them to make the actual project work. And so after a couple years, they did have the design roughed in that was donated by an engineering architectural firm. So that was nice. They had a basis of what they wanted, and they had the dimensions on this property, but no way to make it happen.
So the council, in a real forward-looking move, came up with the idea of councilmatic bonds and passed them so that there were no taxes raised for the regular residents of the town, and this project could unfold.
So we looked at the property and said, well, if we're going to do sports, we need a business component to it. And since part of this fronted Highway 25, we thought there's no sense in giving up prime highway frontage for a baseball field that wasn't going to have anything in return, basically. Property taxes, sales taxes, or any type that a business would generate. So there was enough room, and I met with the architect, and we re-laid out the fields to accommodate about a city block wide strip down Highway 25. So we were able to segregate that out from the actual ball field project and still have meet the same goal as the many fields that we needed to satisfy the Little League, the softball league, and the high school baseball program.
We don't have the empty storefronts that so many rural communities do have. In fact, we have the opposite problem. And so the fact that the city had the foresight to include commercial with this project is huge.
And they approached the school district and said, would you help? So we passed a capital projects bond several years ago, and in that capital projects levy, actually, we had some dollars set aside for development of a Field of Dreams. The city then came in and said, we can make this work. So with leadership from the city, great leadership, they said, we're going to make this Field of Dreams possible. So we were still committed to the financial part. And then while that was going on, we fortunately passed a building bond to modernize our elementary school and to build a new middle school, and part of that was we put in a new track. Our baseball field at the school district was shared with the track. In fact, home plate was right on the track, and second base was on the goal line. So when we built the new track, we needed a home. So fortunately, the city had the property and said, would you be interested? And we said, absolutely. So that's how it came to be. Our middle school and our high school baseball teams practice and play here. So we now have a home, which is wonderful.